You don't lose respect because of one big mistake, not because you said the wrong thing once, not because you failed a single time. Respect doesn't disappear in loud, dramatic ways. It fades quietly, slowly, through small behaviors you repeat every day. A promise you don't keep, a complaint you let drag on a little too long, a moment where you over-explain just to be understood, a decision you make simply because you're afraid others won't agree. On their own, these things seem harmless, but repeated enough times, they begin to change how people see you. And the difficult part is this: you barely notice it happening. You still feel like yourself, but in other people's eyes, something has shifted. In this video, you'll see 5 habits like this, not obvious mistakes, but subtle patterns, quietly deciding whether you're respected or slowly overlooked. We often assume respect comes from big things, from talent, from confidence, from status, or how we present ourselves on the surface. But in reality, it's much simpler than that. Respect doesn't come from what you say about yourself. It comes from what you do, consistently, from how you keep your word, from how you respond when things don't go your way, from how you handle pressure, silence, and the quiet judgment of others. Stoic philosophy makes this very clear. Don't try to appear respectable. Become the kind of person whose actions naturally create respect. And to do that, you have to look at the small things, the ones no one points out, but everyone feels. Because sometimes, the habits you barely notice are the very ones quietly pulling you in the wrong direction. Habit 1: being unreliable. It's not that you lack skill, it's not that you're incapable, but if people can't rely on you, they won't trust you. And when trust fades, respect follows. There's a simple truth here: your words only matter if you follow through. You can speak well, you can promise with the best intentions, but every time you show up late, every time you cancel last minute, every time you say "I'll do it" and don't, you quietly withdraw from your own credibility. No one announces it, but they remember. And over time, something shifts. You stop being trusted with important things, not because you're incapable, but because you're unpredictable. In Stoic thinking, integrity isn't something you claim, it's something you repeat. You don't need to promise more. You need to deliver on what you've already said. Fewer words, more certainty. Because in the end, respect doesn't come from what you could do. It comes from what others trust you will do. Habit 2: complaining too much. Complaining isn't always wrong. Everyone gets tired. Everyone has moments when things don't feel right. The problem isn't that you complain, it's that you repeat it too often. When complaining becomes a habit, it stops being a reaction. It becomes a lens. You start seeing problems everywhere. You talk more about what's wrong than what can be done. And this doesn't just affect you. It changes how people feel around you. No one wants to stay long around someone who constantly carries heavy energy, not because they don't care, but because it feels draining. In Stoic thinking, there's a simple question: is this within your control? If it is, act. If it isn't, accept it. Complaining sits in between. No action, no acceptance, just repetition. And that's what quietly takes away your strength. When you stop complaining, things won't instantly become easier, but you'll become lighter, clearer, and others will begin to see you differently. Habit 3: over-explaining yourself. There's a habit that's easy to miss. You think you're communicating well, but in reality, you're doing the opposite. You explain too much. You add a little more so people understand. You give extra reasons to avoid being misunderstood. You stretch the conversation just to make sure everything feels okay. But that's not what people receive. They don't hear clarity. They hear uncertainty. Every time you over-explain, you quietly send a message: I need you to agree with me. And the moment you need that, you place yourself in a lower position. People with presence don't say more than necessary. They say enough to be clear, then they stop. Not because they're cold, but because they don't need to control how others think. In Stoicism, you can't control how people interpret you. You can only control how you speak. So say what needs to be said, clear, direct, and accept that not everyone will understand you right away. Sometimes, the silence after a clear statement creates more respect than anything else. Habit 4: seeking approval. No one has to say it, but you can feel it in their eyes. You post something and wait for a reaction. You share an opinion and watch to see if others agree. You make a decision, but still need a nod from someone else to feel okay. And over time, it becomes normal. You stop living by what you believe is right. You start living by what creates the least resistance. On the surface, it feels easier, less conflict. Less risk, but the cost is quiet and heavy. You lose yourself, because when your sense of worth depends on approval, you become unstable. Today they agree, you feel fine. Tomorrow they don't, you begin to question yourself. In Stoic thinking, your value doesn't come from outside. It comes from living in alignment with your principles. You don't need to fight people, but you don't need to bend for them either. Do what you believe is right, even if no one applauds. Because real respect doesn't come from being accepted. It comes from not needing acceptance to remain steady. Habit 5, avoiding difficult conversations. This is the hardest habit to notice, and often the one that costs you the most respect. You stay silent when you should speak. You let things slide when you should address them. You tell yourself, leave it for now, instead of dealing with it. It feels like you're keeping the peace, like you're avoiding unnecessary conflict. But others see something different. They see hesitation, lack of clarity, someone who can't be relied on when things matter most. Because respect isn't built when everything is easy. It's built when things get uncomfortable, when something needs to be said, when a boundary needs to be set, when the truth needs to be faced. In Stoic thinking, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. You don't have to be harsh, you don't have to win, but you do have to be clear. Because someone who can speak honestly, calmly, and directly will always earn more respect than someone who stays silent just to keep things smooth. Sometimes a difficult conversation is exactly what saves a relationship, and just as often, it's what preserves the respect people have for you. When you step back, something becomes clear. You don't lose respect because of one major mistake. You lose it through small behaviors repeated every day. Not keeping your word, complaining too often, over-explaining, seeking approval, avoiding what needs to be said. None of these make you a bad person, but they make you inconsistent. And respect doesn't come from perfection. It comes from stability, from people knowing you will do what you say. You will stay grounded when things get difficult, and you won't be easily shaken by what's outside of you. The good news is this: none of these habits are permanent. You don't have to fix everything at once. You just have to start seeing them clearly, honestly, and from there, you begin to change one step at a time. You don't need to become a completely different person. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to choose one thing, one habit you can clearly see in yourself right now, and start there. Maybe it's keeping your word a little more, complaining a little less, speaking less but with more clarity, letting go of the need for approval, or finally saying what you've been avoiding. You don't need to fix everything at once, just one, but stay with it long enough until it becomes part of who you are. And after a while, something interesting happens. You don't need to say more, you don't need to prove yourself, but the way people see you begins to change, not because you've become more impressive, but because you've become more grounded. If you recognized yourself in any of these, leave a comment below, I choose to be worthy of respect, and share the one habit you're choosing to change today. Because respect isn't something you demand from others, it's something you build through how you live every single day.